All right, family. When I do the Teen Talk Show, I'm going to call myself Big Unk. This is Big Unk from BMore's Real Teen Talk Show. This is Big Unk from BMore's Real Teen Talk Show. You know what? I like doing what I do, family, as far as, being a voice for people that's really afraid to talk about themselves. And just to open up the doors, that's all. That's all, family. I thank God that for everything I've been through. Please do not get it wrong. You know how some people say things like, if you could go back and change some stuff, what would you change? Nothing. And the reason why I say that, I didn't understand at first. But when I read in Jeremiah, where God told Jeremiah, I knew you before the foundation of this world. I put everything in you that I called you to go back out and do. Only reason why I'm saying that, family, God already knew everything that was going to happen to me. My life was predestined way before I came here. So the way I look at things now, whatever happened throughout life was supposed to have happened. It's how I deal with it. It's how I cope with it in the here and now. And because I am a recovering addict, y'all always hear me talk about my 12-step spiritual program. Now, it's not to base everything I say around the dope, the alcohol, but not just the dope, the alcohol, food, sex, lying, manipulating, anything that took me outside of myself. Outside of myself. Let me make sure I say that a little bit better. Outside of myself. And it started out at a very early, young age. Doing stuff, I'm going to say that normal kids shouldn't be doing. So now that I'm able to gather my words and I'm able to look back at some things that went on in the past, some of us forgot about those things because they are deeply buried. But now we wonder why we're dealing with depression today. We wonder why we're dealing with stuff like bipolar, schizophrenic, psychiatric issues, psychological issues, right? And we can't really understand why. But we already know it's a chemical imbalancement within the brain. But what normally causes this type of stuff, right? Now, thank God for the work that I was able to do on myself and go back and address that 5-year-old young man, the kid that was in me, or that's in me. See, now I can go back to like 5 years old and look at certain behaviors, right? I can go back to 10, 11. Then you'll hear me talk about 13, 14, 15. And be honest with y'all, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't really remember them years unless I'm talking with somebody and they bring certain things up and I'll be like, oh, wow, I remember that. But other than that, it's certain years I just don't remember, childhood years, right? That's because of the trauma. And not only that, I drank. Not only that, I did drugs. Not only that, I sexed my way through things, So when you catch people who tends to step outside of their body to look for peace and comfort and love, it's an issue inside the body that they don't want to face. So now, mind you, listen to my words, right? Because I'm grown, so I can put my words together. But at 15, I couldn't. At 13, I couldn't because I didn't understand what was going on with me. Even in my early 20s, I didn't understand what was going on with me. It wasn't until I got in my 30s and I got clean that I was able to go back and look back over my life. Now, do y'all realize, right, in my process of recovery, I done been into places like Shepherd Pratt. I'm talking about where our children at. I've been in, what is it in Baltimore City? Woodburn, with your children there. Now, mind you, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe a little bit younger, that was caught up on drugs too at a very, very early young age. It's like, what in the world? So now the adult is looking at himself, but I'm seeing it through the eyes. I'm looking at it, looking at other children. And I'm like, wow, what actually went on in their lives, or who introduced them to whatever drugs or whatever, stuff they was doing, where they had to go into a facility to seek help. Now, can you understand the BMore Real Team Talk Show giving our youth a voice? I remember, and that's why I say, parents, you are the solution to whatever your child or children is going through, because you are the one that have to get them the proper help that they need. If you don't want to get, like, I'm going to say CPS involved, Child Protective Service, stuff like that, right? If you don't want to get the law enforcement involved, you are the ones eventually, if they've been raped or molested or something like that, now we got to go, tell names to get them the proper help they need. So this is why I do what I do, family. I remember my mother asking me, Steve, what is wrong with you? Now, mind you, I'm about 15 years old. I'm shooting dope and I'm shooting cane. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was getting high, and I had tracks on my arm. So she asked me, Steve, what is wrong with you? I didn't know. I was just getting high. I was doing what I was doing. It wasn't until I got clean that I was able to go inside of myself and look at that 5-year-old boy that was hurting inside. I'm talking about the adult, looking at the 5-year-old. And then I was able to go back. I used to wake up late at night, running to the bathroom gagging of an 18-month-old baby being choked on the penis. I would always say that. I never did that to nobody. So I believe deep down the baby, that was me. And I accepted the fact that there's a good chance that I was molested as a child. I don't actually remember. But once I was able to do the work on myself and accept that there's a good chance I might have been molested, whatever anger, whatever resentments, whatever fear, whatever I was carrying inside, I was able to let it go. You get me? Because I was able to address those personal issues. And if a lot of y'all don't understand where I'm coming from, my message is not for you. But it's for those who are dealing with certain things and don't really know how to let it go. And that's what my program, be honest with you, is all about. Helping our people, our lost generation of people, find themselves. This is my way, family, of encouraging, I was going to say coaching, motivating, empowering our people. This is my way, by talking like this and being open and being honest, because I want other people to be able to free themselves too. And it takes a lot of work, don't get it wrong. It takes a lot of work, because you don't want to be judged, but you got to understand this. You can't worry about what other people think, what other people feel, what other people going to say. It's about you and your mental health, your peace, your joy, your happiness. That's what I learned throughout the years. My peace and happiness means more to me than anything else. I'm telling y'all. And I have children, and I had to be very, very overprotective, my wife and I. Okay? Love y'all.